Welcome to my channel. In this video, you're going to learn how to sound Cockney. That is, how to speak with a Cockney London accent, and also how to understand it better. I was born in London and lived there until I was 12. I was born in the north and I lived in the south, so I can replicate an authentic Cockney accent, just in case you're wondering. Before we begin, I'm going to say a couple of sentences in Cockney English, so listen carefully, and at the end of the video we'll see if you have understood it right or not. Are you ready? Hello Harry, I'll come round to your house later if you ain't doing nothing. 3 o'clock all right? What? No? 8 better? All right, cheers mate, catch you later. So obviously you can replay that, and at the end of the video we'll see how much you have understood, and hopefully when you've learnt more about a Cockney accent it will become much clearer. So we're going to learn a Cockney accent, which comes from a certain part of London. So you may hear the term a London accent or even an East End accent. And if we look at this Cockney continuum, you can see that not everyone speaks with an authentic or full Cockney accent. Depending on which part of London you live in, and especially your social class, you will speak with a stronger or weaker accent. At the most radical end of the continuum, we have the strong accent with, let's say, all the features, which will typically be from a working class person from the East End of London. For lower middle class people, there will be fewer features, but the accent will still be noticeably a London accent. And in fact, when I was younger, I had probably a lower middle class accent. So I had certainly many of the features of a London accent. And in fact, people identified me as coming from London. They said, oh, you have a London accent. And finally, we have got what is called a weak Cockney or London accent, which could also be the estuary English, which has some or very few features of a London accent, but can still be identified as being from London and may be associated with people who are middle class. I'm going to take what are, in my opinion, the 10 most iconic or typical sounds that will make you sound Cockney, or which make a person sound Cockney. Because as we see here in this Wikipedia page, we could make a video that lasted literally days. So first we'll look at consonants, then we'll look at vowels and diphthongs. Finally, we'll have a very, very brief look at some vocabulary, including rhyming slang and grammar, which you absolutely need. So sound number 1 is H dropping, which means you do not pronounce the H, which is fantastic news if you are French. So if we say hello Harry, that would be hello Harry. Sounds similar. Now we're going to look at a clip from My Fair Lady, the film, where Eliza Doolittle tries to pronounce the following phrase. In Hertford, Hereford and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen. Let's see how she does.
Repeat that after me. In Hertford, Hereford and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen.
In Hertford, Hereford and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen.
Oh, no, no, no.
What did you think about that? Exactly. She missed every single H. An interesting thing is that Adele, although she has quite a strong Cockney accent, does not drop the H's, which is, well, quite annoying actually. Not all Cockney speakers use all of the features. The second sound is also absolutely obligatory, and this is the glottal stop, which is a voiced plosive, which we see in this diagram, where the air is stopped when we're pronouncing especially a T. So it stops in the throat. This is becoming more popular also in other accents. At the end of a word and before a consonant, for example, forget, minute, about now, a lot more. These are so popular now that they are almost accepted into standard Southern British English, especially in informal, fast, fluent speaking. So you may hear a lot of native speakers using this because it's just easier. In the middle of a word, before a consonant, again, even in the middle, it's also okay. So instead of saying witness, you could say witness, witness. Between vowels, however, it's not so acceptable, and this is where you will hear the Cockney accent more clearly. It's obligatory. For example, Britain, city, water, latest, photo. Do not copy this if you're doing an English exam or you want to sound more standard when you speak English. Let's listen now to Adele in an interview, a very early interview from 2008. Let's see if you can spot the glottal stops in the sentences that she uses. Are you ready?
I was born in Tottenham.
In the first one, we hear, instead of I was born in Tottenham, she says, I was born in Tottenham.
Moved to Brighton when I was 9.
In the second one, instead of I moved to Brighton when I was 9, she says, I moved to Brighton when I was 9. So we'll look at this in 9. We'll also look at this vowel later on. And finally,
I had a meeting with my school about going to university.
In standard British English, she said, I had a meeting at my school about going to university. What she said was, I had, so she doesn't drop the H, a meeting at my school about going to university.
I had a meeting with my school about going to university.
So she does drop the T's. She uses the glottal stop or glottal stop a lot. Sound number 3. This is where an unvoiced goes to an unvoiced th. So th goes to th. Example, I think he's an author. In standard Southern British English, changes to I think he's an author. I think he's an author. Can you hear the difference? Let's listen now to Amy Winehouse. She says, I won it about a month ago. But how does she pronounce month? Listen and see if you can identify it.
Yeah, I won it, yeah.
You won it already?
That was about a month ago. Yeah, I won it, yeah.
You won it already?
That was about a month ago.
Oh, it was a month ago.
Did you hear that? I won it about a month ago. So she also uses the glottal stop as well as changing the th to a th. Sound number 4. A voiced the changes to a voiced the in a middle syllable. So, for example, brother changes to Brovver. Sound number 5 may surprise you. This is where the dark L, that is the L which is at the end or in the middle of a word, which isn't pronounced as strongly as a normal L, not L, but L, changes to a W. So instead of Adele, you would say Adele with a W at the W, like that. Let's look at an area of London that also has a Cockney accent, which is Millwall. A girl from Millwall, and this would sound like, in Cockney, a girl from Millwall. Just like the girl in the photo who supports Millwall Football Club. A girl from Millwall. Sound number 6, and we come to a vowel. This is where, in a word like school, the vowel changes from oo to or. So instead of school, you say school. School. Let's hear Adele use a couple of the sounds that we've already studied, plus this one where she talks about school.
Went to normal rubbish rough school. She said,
I went to a normal rubbish rough school, rough being a little bit dangerous. And she also uses normal with a W and school, as we said before. And in the following sentence...
And then I went to the Brit school.
Maybe this was a little bit difficult to understand. She says, the Brit school. Brit. So she uses the glottal stop on Brit, which is difficult to understand, and school. Another one, which is very, very typical, especially in working class or lower middle class accents in London, is the following, where the O goes to ol, especially before LD. So cold changes to cold. Cold, cold. It's pronounced further back in your mouth. Your tongue goes backwards. Another sentence. I told you it was cold. In Cockney would sound like, I told you it was cold. Other words which you may hear. Mould will be mould. Gold, gold. And hold will be hold. Hold. Or like a hole instead of a hole. Is your English in a hole or in a hole at the moment? Sound 8 is a diphthong. And this is where A changes to I. So it's very, very prominent. It's a very different pronunciation. Rain will sound like Rhine. Again, we're going to look at a clip from My Fair Lady, the film that we saw earlier, where Eliza Doolittle is continuing to be tortured by her voice coach, and she has to say the following sentence. The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. Let's see if she's able to say it or not.
All right, Eliza, say it again.
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
Didn't I say that?
No, Eliza, you didn't say that. You didn't even say that.
Well, as you heard, she wasn't. And her voice coach was extremely angry. Later on in the film, she does say it correctly, and they sing quite a catchy song, in fact.
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
I think she's got it.
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
So this is one you definitely need to add if you want to speak with an authentic Cockney accent. Sound number 9 is another diphthong, where we have a word like nice changes to nice. Oi. It's not oi. So a sentence like, that's very nice. That's very nice will sound like, that's very nice. That's very nice.
Moved to Brighton when I was 9.
Try that one. Not so easy. And the final sound includes the word endings. In fact, there are 2 sounds here, but they're both word endings, so I've put them together, where in the first instance, ing changes to in. For example, playing becomes playing. Meeting becomes meeting. Eating becomes eating. Eating. So the G is swallowed. Eating. Not eating. Eating. And secondly, we have A that changes to E. So for example, yesterday, yesterday. Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday. This isn't exclusive to London, but it is very, very typical. Those are the sounds. Finally, we're going to look at some Cockney vocabulary and rhyming slang. You've probably heard about this before. And in fact, you can find books written about it like this. The one I have here. It's like a dictionary of typical rhyming slang. It means 2 words that rhyme equal another word. For example, apple and pears equals stairs. So you normally say the first word. Let's go up the apples. Ring me on the dog and bone, which is phone. So in this case, bone, the second word is the one that rhymes. So it's not always the same. And you wouldn't say the bone either. Now, from my personal experience growing up in London, in my family, we often used the following. They said to me, use your loaf. which is like use your head or use your brain, of course, because loaf of bread equals head. Yeah, loaf, but in my family they used just loaf. And I never really thought about it, just use your loaf. And you also need to add alternative words, but this would take quite a long time. You can use, for example, the word blower, which means telephone. So your mum's on the blower, or instead of car, you can use motor, and instead of guy or dude or man, you can use mate. Nice motor, mate. And also mate is used a lot in Australia because a lot of the people or convicts originally came from London and they were transported to Sydney, Australia. Or he's a good geezer, isn't he? Which means he's a good person, isn't he? Talking of innie, it is a question tag. And here we have some more examples of Cockney question tags. It's great, innit? Which is, it's great, isn't it? He's cool, isn't he? He's cool, isn't he? She's nice, isn't she? She's nice, isn't she? So you will hear this a lot, and sometimes people just use innit for all persons, which makes it simpler, doesn't it? Also, you'll hear the word ain't, which obviously you will hear in other accents, especially in America, the negative of the verb to be. So you can say I, you, he, she, we, they, ain't from London. So remember, don't pronounce the T. Ain't from London. I ain't from London. And finally, you need to include some irregular past tense verbs, but say them wrongly. For example, he came here last night. No, he come here last night. He did it yesterday. No, he done it yesterday. And with the verb to be, you can also simplify this in the past tense. So you can say I, he, she, it was, which is correct. But you can also say you singular and plural, we or they was. So we was there yesterday. Was you there? This actually irritates me quite a lot when I hear it. And here is quite a famous sports person in England called Jimmy White, who plays snooker. Listen to what he says.
When you was a kid, I'd give you proper advice.
Yeah.
When you was a kid, when you was. Once you was in your zone. Once you was in your zone, you was. So this is also quite typical from, let's say, the more working class or stronger Cockney accent. So finally, let's check what I said in Cockney English at the beginning of the video. Here we go. Hello, Harry. You all right? Was hello, Harry. Are you all right? I'll come round to your house later if you ain't doing nothing. I'll come round to your house later if you aren't doing anything. So we had a double negative as well. 3 o'clock all right? Is 3 o'clock okay? Nah, no. 8 better? Is 8 o'clock better? All right. Okay then. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Catch you later. I'll see you later. So how much of that did you understand? Well, hopefully a lot more after watching this video with the 10 sounds and the vocabulary and the grammar. And if you enjoyed this video about a Cockney English accent, I'm absolutely sure that you'll love the following video, which is here. I hope to see you in that video and to see you again soon on the channel. Please leave me a comment and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye. Catch you later.